What is up, ladies and gentlemen and speedsters all round? Welcome back to a brand new Flash video, and today not only are we going over the series finale, the season finale of the Flash Season 6's trailer, but we also have some all new information regarding the original cliffhanger with the Reverse Flash, which I haven't actually been over yet, and as well as the episodes that we aren't getting this season, for example, episode 20, 21, and 22, and if Grant Gustin thinks that those stories will be continued, and if so, in what way in season 7. And the information is actually more surprising than what you'd think, especially with what Eric Wallace has to say about the Reverse Flash, so I can't wait to get onto that, but of course also break the trailer down. So of course, as usual guys, I'm going to show the trailer and then we'll get into all the details about that, and towards the end of this video we'll break down this information that I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on as well.
My wife was abducted. I have to save her. That mirrorverse warps the mind until the person is no longer recognizable. If Iris is still alive in there, there's probably nothing left of her to save.
So there you have it, that is the trailer guys, and unfortunately that is the last episode of The Flash we're getting this season. I think we can all understand why, because of the illness that's happening in the world. It just is the way it is. Sometimes stuff like this happens. Well, pandemics like this don't often happen. Either way, this probably won't feel like a definitive finale for many. I think a lot of you guys, no matter what you think going into this, don't have high expectations of any kind of proper resolution for this season. Obviously, we were meant to get episode 20, 21, 22 with that big Thawne cliffhanger, which, as I said, definitely stick around for the end of this video because Eric Wallace has said some even more stuff which kind of confuses me, so I really want to talk about that with you guys. But yeah, as for this episode, especially with this trailer, it looks like it will probably have some form of cliffhanger, which we'll get into in a little bit with my speculation as to what could happen. But yeah, I think considering we had 3 episodes left with defeating Ava McCulloch's Mirror Mistress or Mirror Master and everything else going on with it, we had quite a bit of content left with The Flash Season 6. But as for the synopsis for this episode, everyone, as it gives us a little bit more of a clue as to what we will be seeing in this episode, it is as follows. So Barry considers a risky plan to save Iris from the Mirrorverse. Ralph attempts to stop Sue from making a grave mistake that could destroy her life. Now, as always guys, because I usually wait to do these trailer breakdowns the next day, this allows me to add all the promo photos for this upcoming finale because they usually release sometime after the CW drops the trailer. So if you're seeing some photos on screen throughout this video, those are the official promo photos for the finale, and they actually do show quite a bit with some returning Blackhole agents such as Ultraviolet and the other kind of assassins that we've seen sent on behalf of Joseph Carver. It looks like they're really going to get up in Team Flash's face, and I'm thinking the risky thing from the synopsis that it states to do with Barry getting Iris out of the Mirrorverse could end up with the Flash stuck in there, which would be a bit kind of obvious. It's not the first time something like that has happened either on the Flash. So at the beginning of this trailer, we know that Barry really wants to get Iris back, obviously, but it seems that he's saying to Nash, she was taken. I really need to get her back. I think it's been dragged on not just enough for the audience, but this is dragging out for Barry as well because, yeah, I think he really wants to get her out. Hopefully that will happen by the end of this episode. I'm pretty sure it will, but as I said, it could end up with Barry in there, which would be, as I said, a bit cliche, but hey, I guess it is something to go off until season 7. Now, we do also see Barry speaking to Joseph Carver, who I think a lot of us are predicting to meet his end in this episode. Maybe it was planned for episode 20, 21, or 22. It's fairly obvious that Ava McCulloch really wants to go after her ex-husband, or her current husband technically, and we even see this kind of bullet hole, which is really strange in this mirror, because surely it would be like fragmented, but either way he's looking at the bullet hole, and I'm wondering if something sinister will happen in this moment. It could very well, either way, let me put it this way, I don't think Joseph Carver will live to meet the end of this episode, but what he does have to say about the Mirrorverse definitely freaks Barry out, because I don't think he knew about that dissonance that Iris is experiencing. I mean, he knows that she's trapped there in the Mirrorverse, but he doesn't know how it can drive one insane, just like how it has Ava McCulloch, and here he's pointing out to Barry that you're not really yourself the longer you spend in the Mirrorverse. Now, this is like a really quick trailer. I mean, they always are, but this one just basically had that Joseph Carver conversation with Barry, then just some montage of clips going very fast, and then before you know it, it's over. But luckily, we do have those promo photos going alongside it. So luckily that we have access to the promo photos here, we can get a good peek at what's going on. Quite a bit of drama unfolding down at McCulloch Technologies, with Ultraviolet facing off against a fairly familiar family member to her, which is obviously Allegra. We also have the other Blackhole agents there, which I cannot remember their names. Was every single one of them given a name? I can't remember. Either way, it looks like Sue is about to commit a grave mistake that could destroy her life, as it says in the synopsis, and Ralph is here to try and stop her. We can't forget that Sue has a kind of own mission here or agenda with this whole black hole storyline, and now she has some beef with Joseph Carver, so I'm sure this is all kind of fitting in nicely in this episode to even the main plot with the Iris and Barry stuff in the Mirrorverse. Now, apparently this episode as well, it just luckily, just the fact that it happens to be now the season finale, features one of the biggest fights in the Flash ever, and it has a natural cliffhanger, so we're kind of lucky there. So maybe this is where all of that action is going down in McCulloch Technologies, not only with these black hole agents, but perhaps Ava McCulloch, having come out of her little mirror pod that she was in at the end of last episode, has a grand entrance here and starts using some of her powers. That would be really kick-ass to see, just to see her really go ham. Maybe that's where Joseph Carver may meet his end. It could be like this really explosive moment that we're seeing in these promo photos. But enough about that trailer for now, because I feel like that is the main grasp of what is going on next episode. Unfortunately, there's not a whole bunch to say about that, even though this next part is somewhat related to the final episodes of this season that we were going to get. I'll save the Reverse Flash stuff to the very end, but this is just kind of quick, with Grant Gustin being asked by Entertainment Tonight, do you think you're going to finish your last 3 episodes in the start of next season, or do you think that the writers are going to have you start out with a clean slate? Now, this is very interesting of a question to be asked to Grant Gustin, because we've all been speculating, okay, if we're not getting episode 20, 21, and 22, then surely maybe they'll just pick that up on 701, 702, and 703. But this is what he has to say about that. No, I would have to imagine that the way things are going to be left off, we're still going to need a lot of those pieces to finish what we're doing. So I think that would have served as episode 620, 21, and 22. Maybe they won't do those storylines in their entirety in season 7, but I would imagine we're going to finish, or we're going to kind of do condensed versions of those 3 episodes before we continue on to what they had planned for season 7. And that's me speculating. I haven't necessarily had that conversation with the writers, so what Grant is saying there is actually not mega surprising, but a bit more surprising than what I thought, and what many others may have thought, because he's saying he doesn't think they're gonna flesh out those storylines in their entirety, in terms of we're not actually gonna get maybe even 3 episodes worth of what we originally would have with episode 20, 21, and 22. It might be a bit more condensed at the beginning of season 7, because they still need to get on with the major season 7 stuff that they had planned. So we've speculated about this a lot in videos and even live streams, that maybe they're just going to take some ideas from it, at least fulfill it in some way or another, but just not directly serve those 3 episodes at the beginning of next season. Because no matter what way you can look at it now, is that they do have plenty of time to think about how they're going to shuffle stuff around, what ideas they are going to incorporate, what ideas they're going to fulfill, maybe what ideas they're going to scrap, with in mind of the season 7 storyline and the graphic novel part A of season 7, and whoever they're going to fulfill there, whether that's the Reverse Flash or maybe some Godspeed tie-in, given the deeper mystery that we've got with that character now as of the end of last episode, with whoever this is wanting all of this velocity. But that is there's so much stuff we can talk about. But talking about Reverse Flash, this actually came out just over a week ago now, and I actually didn't see it. And we've been talking about the Reverse Flash cliffhanger on this channel for quite some time now. I mean, who hasn't? That's quite an exciting, idea to hear about for the end of a season. That was one of the biggest redeeming factors for me about that Reverse Flash episode. I know so many of you loved that, but personally for me, I don't feel like a character or a villain of that caliber should just be used in a one-off episode. I've always wanted to see good old Eobard come back as a proper series villain again, whether that be the last season or not. But they did tease his return at the end of that last episode, and as Eric Wallace says here as well, as a lot of us have been referring referring to the Reverse Flash as he's been out there Voldemorting. And, you know, Eric Wallace seems to be understanding totally what we mean there. So this is what he's been asked. Now, this is from CBR, by the way. I'll leave all of these links down in the description below. So he was asked the other day, Barry Allen actor Grant Gustin mentioned the season originally had a big Thawne cliffhanger. I understand plans have obviously changed, but will we see any remnants of that in the lead up to the new season finale? So that's kind of a good question, because it's like, okay, we were supposed to be getting an original Thawne cliffhanger, but is there any way that you could have somehow teased that in the prior episodes, like for example this finale episode coming up? And this is what Eric has to say. Unfortunately, no. Sadly, because of the pandemic and because of the changes we had to make, that Thawne cliffhanger, which really starts in episode 15, The Exorcism of Nash Wells, because now we've gotten Thawne to his next stage, he's out there Voldemorting, we're now no longer able to do our original plan in the last 2 episodes of the season, which really sucks to hear. It really does. But this is where he says something very interesting, and I could be reading into this too much, but it's definitely got my interest piqued, and this is where I really want to hear your feedback down in the comments. So he says, but don't worry, no fear, that gets rolled into next season, which, you know, as you would expect, I think we all guessed. But he says this, so we'll have to finish the Blackhole storyline and find a different way to weave in the Thawne stuff. Now, having said that, I know what you're thinking. Well, I'm disappointed, Eric. I love Reverse Flash. I love Thawne. There's got to be a way to give us what we want this season. And this is where he says, well, I am happy to report we did come up with a very crazy solution that now in the, how shall I say it, not in the season finale, but perhaps soon thereafter, it gets resolved in a way that I think fans of the Reverse Flash are going to just giggle with delight. Wait, what? I honestly don't know what to say here, because that's definitely a teaser if ever I've seen one. Like, I feel like I'm going around in circles at this point. I keep reiterating the same thing. I'm just really excited, I guess. I have no idea what Eric is saying. I have no idea what Eric is doing. I hope he's not overhyping it. Maybe I'm getting too overhyped here. But hey, I wanted to deliver that news to you guys anyway. I can't speculate even more, because it really ultimately is just a mystery through what he means there. What do you guys think he means? Maybe I'm looking too into it. I don't think I am, because I just read that text out plain as day. It's definitely, you know, insinuating something exciting for us fans of the Reverse Flash. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this trailer, guys. Let me know what you thought of the comment from Grant Gustin about the first 3 episodes of next season, or should I say the last 3 episodes of this season maybe being condensed early next season, and obviously the Reverse Flash comments from Eric Wallace here. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like on it. It is, after all, the last trailer breakdown I will be doing. It's just crazy that this season has been cut short. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you speedsters in the next video. Goodbye.